I've never met David Dimbleby, but in terms of revered and markedly successful British families of my lifetime, the Dimblebys are right up there. Father Richard was the most famous TV broadcaster of his generation. Two of his sons, David and Jonathan, have likewise made their careers in journalism and broadcasting. David's first wife, Jocelyn, is a top cookery writer, and one of their sons, Henry, is a chef and co-founded the fast food chain Leon, now for better or worse part of the Asda supermarket empire. David, born in 1938 and nearer 90 than 80 as I tell you this, has spent a professional lifetime in front of the TV cameras, most recently fronting a series about the days that shook the BBC, together with presenting part of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth's funeral proceedings. Quite an accolade when you keep getting the calls at the wrong side of 80. He benefits from good health and retains his pin-sharp and forensic view on life, an example to us all. He is admired for his professionalism and objectivity. He was interviewed for the Times newspaper by Decca Aitkenhead at the beginning of October 2022, and I was delighted and surprised to find a kindred spirit in a number of things that he said, apart from the bit about resorting to roll-ups in later life. Firstly, he followed in his dad's footsteps. I too followed my dad into the same company. It seemed the natural thing to do, with all the benefits and also disadvantages that this brings. He has no social life, and not because he's so busy. In spite of knowing a lot of people, there are only a very few he could count as real friends. Yes, that's me too, but it's not an issue for either of us, it's just how it is. A quiet family life. I enjoy the company of all parts of my greater family and doing this quietly. Walking, talking, eating, etc. And we don't need to see each other every week either. He prefers sitting on the outside, particularly in relation to family gatherings. I like looking and listening without feeling the need to play father of the clan. I'm more inclined to have one-on-one conversations with those on the edge of the jollity. That appeals to me so much more, and I gain so much more from that. And I'm sure that my family doesn't want me holding court and doing a music hall routine. Voting. David Dimbleby claims to have voted for the three main political parties at different times. Same here, when their policies chimed with my own needs and aspirations. And on the subject of deference, he doesn't like or see the need for bowing and scraping when confronted by famous people, or in fact treating anyone any differently to anyone else. He will have had 1,000 more opportunities to meet the great and the good than I, but it's quite obvious in his demeanour on TV that he isn't cowed by anyone. Good for him. I've met many captains of industry and people famous in their own worlds over the years, but from my experience, most of them delight in being normal and not standing on ceremony. I remember talking football over lunch with the legendary conductor and choirmaster David Temple, MBE. He thought this brilliant, as so often his usual lunchtime experiences seem to revolve around music and more music. The lives of David Dimbleby and I have followed very different courses, but if I reach my mid-80s with his recall, intelligence, wit and demeanour, I shall be a very happy man.